This is such a nice camera angle. I like it. Mostly because I get to lay in bed with blankets while I record. But let's keep those out of the picture. It's kind of funny. Today, when I was coming home from work, I saw it was going to rain on the radar. I tried beating the rain. I beat the rain. But I didn't beat the sprinklers. So I got just as wet as if it did rain, but whatever. It's kind of funny how around here, you don't have to worry about real rain, you have to worry about fake rain. Yeah. Now, onto the subject of the video, which you're probably more interested in. A coworker today asked me, so when do you think you're going to consider yourself female? To which I replied, and they replied, I didn't need an answer, don't hurt yourself. And I was like, yes, but I should have an answer. And they're like, okay. But I've been chopping away on that idea because it is a good question to have and it is a good answer to have. Then again, the question itself could be kind of flawed because I guess the first thing I'd pull up is that I don't think that it's a given that I ever will be female. Because first, it's bad to get your hopes up because biology can be a bitch. But also, I don't know, maybe whatever groove I kind of find myself in would be very masculine acting, and maybe I wouldn't get very feminine looking. I don't know. Granted, that wouldn't really matter too much because, I mean, in reality, a lot of people confuse you mentally with you physically. So we kind of have to split that apart, in my opinion. I'm just kind of spitballing here. I have a few ideas I wrote down, but just kind of barely remembering them. Basically, I think that I have no gender because I'm just a human. Now, I have better compatibility with different genders, or different sexes, I mean. For instance, I would find myself more compatible with being in a female body as opposed to a male body. But I still could use both, just being in a male body, I'd feel less efficient, less able to use it, you know, if that makes sense. But I don't think that I myself am actually male or female. So yeah, you're just a human. You being the mental you. I kind of laugh at whenever people say that they were like born a woman or born a man because you were born a baby. You were just you weren't really like you really didn't become a boy or girl until puberty, I don't think. So now, that would put the question onto just your physical form, which of course I've lived as a male. Well, I've lived with a lot of testosterone for, let's say, 8 years, since, let's just say I started puberty at 14, about there. So there's already been some permanent movement towards masculine. Now I'm trying to divert that back to feminine, but it really depends on where you put the goal at, depending on where, like, because I might never get like entirely over to where I would be if I was born female, or born with the genetics that would make me go through female puberty before male puberty. But fuck, it's a mind fuck. But you have to keep in mind that it's a very broad window. I mean, there's people out there that naturally they look like dudes, but everybody considers them females. And there's a lot of dudes that look like females, you know, very effeminate dudes. But yeah. But still, then again, I guess the question is, where would you, or when will you think of yourself as female? So we can clarify that by saying, so I get to choose the answer, or I get to choose the goals. Like, what do I define? I get to define female, which is nice. That can help a lot with the question. And I can limit that down to only being female-bodied. Because not only do I not think that the human mind has no gender, I also am already who I want to be. I may change things slightly as I feel more comfortable, but who knows? Speaking of comfort, I found it interesting that I've actually found that I've been leaning toward, I've been feeling guilty for doing things not, or I've been feeling like I've needed to conform towards more feminine rules. Not really sure. Like, for instance, I guess you could just say I've been feeling like I've been having to act a little more feminine than act masculine. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. For instance, using the men's bathroom. Using the men's bathroom, it's always, I walk in, and if there's anybody in there, it's kind of like, yo, just gonna use the restroom. And usually they kind of do like a double take, like, oh, are they in the wrong bathroom, whatever? And so it's like, hi. Yeah. So it's a slight bit of awkwardness that is growing as it goes by month, as I use the men's bathroom. It probably doesn't help too much that I have boobs now. I mean, it's like that. I mean, you can't really see it, fuck it. But yeah, especially whenever I walk in with my purple jacket on, all zipped up, you can kind of see a little bit, so I don't know. But at the same note, I think if I were to use the women's restroom, I would feel even more out of place. So I think it's gonna be one thing where I'll keep using the men's bathroom until it's less uncomfortable to use the women's bathroom, and then I'll switch over to that until it gets easier to do that. In the end, though, it doesn't really matter. It's just a bathroom, but it's an interesting situation in the day-to-day life where you actually think about that. But to be honest, nobody really cares. They're just kind of like, oh, at the very most. What was I talking about? Oh yes. So I get to define what female means. So I have a lot of control over that question. That question was very well made to give me a lot of control. So I'm very happy about that. I can control what female means, or what I define as female. I can get to control what do I define as I. Can't really define when. That's the whole question. But when is just on the normal time. So basically the question is, when do I think my physical form, my body, will look feminine? Since gender is a gradient, and you can kind of like slide across there, but it's like multi-level. There's so many different things. That's how we can have so many varied people. I would say a year. I think about a year into transition, I will be mostly female, if that makes sense. I find it difficult to say that, though. I find it difficult to say that I'd be female, which is interesting. I guess one thing is that I haven't completely proven to myself that I can transition. I'm still too hesitant. I'm not relying on it. In case, like, for some reason, my biology doesn't really, like, allow for me to transition that far, which chances are it will. But if for some reason I still just end up looking like a dude, then if I don't bet all my dice on that, then I'll just take whatever I can get and I'll be happy with that. Kind of wondering, I hope that it'll go far enough to where, like, yeah, I look like a girl. But also the thing is, the goal isn't really to be female, I guess. The goal is kind of just to feel how I want to look, or just to be how I want to look. It happens to be that is very close. That is pretty much what that image that I want to be, and that image that the average female is. That's pretty much the same, or at least it fits in that category. I would say pretty perfectly, not perfectly, as perfectly as female body with very masculine interests like blacksmithing and cosplay, sewing, and all that kind of stuff, but mostly like machining and forging and welding and doing things, and astronomy. Yes, astronomy and science and physics and mathematics and video games. Yes. I'm getting off a tangent again. See, this whole question is just such a mindfuck. It's difficult to think about. And I've been trying to figure out how to like, because tomorrow I'll probably like try to throw out whatever answer I can think of again, and and my coworker will probably be like, "Don't hurt yourself again." But fuck. Okay, so I've gotten kind of derailed. I was going towards an answer. Okay, so when I think I will be female, when I think that my body will match what I want to be, well, let's just go with that. When I think that my body will match what I want to be, will be about a year. That's whenever I will get 80% there. That's what I assume. Then again, I assumed that I would be 50% there in 6 months. I kind of feel 50% there now. And it's been about 5.5 months. For instance, whenever I first started, I kind of estimated that I would start wearing bras around 1 year in, or 6 months in. I've actually found that it feels weird not to wear a bra at about 5 months in. And not socially weird. It feels physically weird not to wear a bra because a bra is really nice, actually. It helps a lot when you have boobs. So yeah, I would say the timeline would be 6 months to 50% of transition, 1 year to 80% of transition, and then just kind of whenever after that, probably never get that extra 20%, because I would kind of say that 20% will be the part I missed by going through 8 years of male puberty. I'm very glad that I went through that, though. I don't resent it at all, because I've had very interesting, like, I've had time to think about all this kind of stuff, and I've had my mind constantly digging up those questions like, oh, what do I think about? Why do I want to be this way? Why am I this way? So like that. So I'm very happy that I'm transgendered. But God, it's a brain fuck when you have to answer a question like that, because I want to answer it like very precisely. I want to answer it where it makes sense. But in order to answer it to make sense, I have to add on all these other things and explain it. Otherwise, it really doesn't make sense. So my answer for the question will probably be about 45 minutes long for them. Actually, I guess it's only been 15 minutes. And that's 15 minutes plus with me, like, just kind of like going for a minute and a half, thinking about what I'm going to say. So to recap, I think that I would consider myself actually female in about a year after transition. You're into transition. There, that's better. And I also really like this camera position because this camera position is really nice. I'm really liking it. I'm not so sure how it's going to look, and because I can see in the viewfinder, but you can never really tell until you actually see the video while you're editing. Not sure if this is going to be annoying. But that's opposed to the other where I'm just sitting down there at the edge of my bed in front of the camera. So it's not like it's a huge, it's not like it's replacing a hugely thought out camera position before, because the other camera position for my personal bits videos is just kind of boring also. So yeah. Today's been one of those days where I just spend my entire existence in deep thought, oh my god. But quietly, so it's well, that's been my day, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. See ya!